After asking the number one question I have for every AFC team, it is time to do the number one question I have for every NFC team. Put your number one question for your respective team in the comments. I'm going to make a video where I go through every single one of your individual comments. And yeah, we'll take a look and see, because 2024 right around the corner. Can't wait for some football. Let's go. If you love football content, consider giving a like and a follow. It helps the channel grow, and the season is right around the corner. Let's start this off. My number one question I have for the 2024 Dallas Cowboys is the all-in in the room with us now?
Let's go back to Clarence Hill Jr. and his reporting on Jerry Jones today. He posted, quote, Jerry Jones said the Cowboys are going all in 2024. We will be going all in, quote. I would say that you will see us in the coming year, not build it for the future. So let's get our...
I don't understand. I don't think Jerry Jones understands what going all in actually means. That implies that you're going to do whatever is possible to make your team better, and I'm not seeing that. Signing an aging Ezekiel Elliott, or a lot of people, I think the last couple of years have been crapping on the Cowboys. In the preseason, I predicted that I thought the team was going to make the playoffs. This is the first year in a while where I think this team takes a huge step back, and I am not a believer in the Cowboys, and they're not all in. They are big blinding themselves to death. The number one question I have for the Philadelphia Eagles is, how tenuously is Nick Sirianni holding on to this job? The Philadelphia Eagles came in on fire. They were one of the best teams in football after their tough Super Bowl loss. But after starting the gate hot, they suck. I think a big part of that was their coach. I don't think Nick Sirianni is a very good coach. And the reason I ask this question is the Philadelphia Eagles have fired coaches who have had success. They are a team where if it looks like you're done, they'll get rid of you. When your quarterback has more maturity than your head coach, literally telling them like, hey, stop trying to show them up. Like that's pathetic. The coach is supposed to be the leader of the team. And all that bravado and everything went away once they dropped 6 of the last 7. It appears that Shane Steichen was the actual genius behind this team, and Nick Sirianni just kind of rode his coattails. What record do you think it'll take for Nick Sirianni to get fired? I think if they drop, I think if this team doesn't make the playoffs, he's going to get fired. But I'm curious what Eagles fans think. Let me know in the comments. The number one question I have for the New York Giants is Malik Neighbors enough to fix this offense? Malik, top flight target for the LSU Tigers, got drafted by the New York Giants, and they needed him bad. The Giants were the 29th overall offense, the 31st ranked passing offense. The bright spot for the team is they were the 16th ranked rushing offense, but we know that's not going to happen this year. Saquon Barkley, now a new member of the Philadelphia Eagles. New York Giants are just in a super weird position with the quarterback that it looks like is going to be on his way out. They made a couple good trades, but I don't think that's enough to be a contender in the NFC East, and I think the Giants are going to be the worst team in the NFC East this year. And then if they are bad again, does the coach of the year of a couple years ago lose his job? Do not win coach of the year. It is cursed. The number one question I have for the Washington Commanders is, can this team have a 2012 turnaround? Jaden Daniels was selected by the Washington Commanders. They got their franchise quarterback. They picked up Dan Quinn from the Dallas Cowboys, the former defensive coordinator, also former head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. And I don't know what it is. I just have a really good feeling about the Commanders this year. I know this is not a popular selection. Vegas has the Commanders over under at 6.5 wins, but I just have this. I have a strong feeling that we're going to get a redux of 2012. Jaden Daniels, an electric run first quarterback, a lot like Robert Griffin III was. And I got faith that he's going to come in and immediately ignite this team. Couple that with a fairly easy schedule. I think the sky's the limit for the Commanders. I could definitely see them winning the NFC East. My number one question I have for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is, was last year luck, or can they do it again? Tampa Bay kicked the absolute crap out of the representative of the NFC last year in the Super Bowl. They also took one of the final 4 teams down to the last blow and were able to re-sign most of their players. Able to lock up Mike Evans for the foreseeable future. Also re-signed Baker Mayfield. And this team has kept everybody. They also locked up safety Antoine Winfield to a 4-year, $84 million contract. With their only real competition being the Atlanta Falcons, I see no reason why the Buccaneers can't repeat as division champions. The number one question I have for the New Orleans Saints is, when are they going to finally rip the Band-Aid off? We haven't played a down of football in 2024, and yet the New Orleans Saints are already $84 million in the red. I mentioned in my worst decision of the decade video for the NFC, and I think signing Derek Carr doomed this team to being stuck in this cap situation. There was a long time running joke on Reddit that the cap was fake and that Mickey Loomis make cap go burr. They were unable to re-sign Teron Armstead due to the cap situation. Trey Hendrickson had to go due to their cap situation. The worst part is that Saints are just kind of stuck in this death spiral until they finally just decide to eat it, which is hilarious because the Buccaneers did the same thing. The Buccaneers ate a huge cap hit, and then they made the playoffs shockingly, while the Saints just keep muttering themselves in mediocrity. There is no way out that isn't painful. The Saints for years, spent money on credit cards, and now they're trying to pay the bill and they can't do it. Look how many void years are on the record for 2026. Unbelievable. The number one question I have for the Atlanta Falcons is, what the hell are they doing? When the Atlanta Falcons signed Kirk Cousins, I was actually a huge fan of this move. I remember wondering when Marcus Mariota was playing terribly, like, why haven't the Falcons put in Desmond Ridder? And you watched him play football for about 2 quarters and went, oh, that's why he's absolute dog shit. But the Atlanta Falcons do have a ton of talent, even though I absolutely hate the pick. Bijan Robinson is an unbelievable talent. You got the electrifying tight end, Kyle Pitts. Drake London has showed himself to be a quality wide receiver. So I thought with the signing of Kirk Cousins, the Atlanta Falcons were saying, hey, we want to throw our name into the ring to be a contender. But instead of, either solidifying the defense with a high draft pick or, making a move for another offensive weapon that can really help Kirk Cousins, who they signed to a 4-year, $180 million contract, what do? The team drafts Michael Penix Jr. at 8, a move that shocked the entire NFL world.
So you were expecting it?
No, I'm just happy it worked out that way.
They came out later and said, this was the plan and that Kirk Cousins knew the entire time, which we know that's a lie. The team looked like they were going all in, and now they kind of seem to be half in, half out, and I don't understand how they're trying to build this roster. But if you disagree with me, Atlanta Falcons fan, let me know in the comments, but I don't get it. The number one question I have for the Carolina Panthers is, can Bryce Young figure it out? I'll be honest, during the draft process, I didn't see it. I watched a lot of tape of Bryce Young, and I'm like, why does everyone think this guy's going to be the number one overall pick? And let's be honest, I don't want to absolutely bury the kid. I mean, it's not completely his fault. The team around him was terrible. They gutted a lot of talent to try to grab him. However, even when a dude is bad, right? You have moments where you go, I can see it. I can see he has talent. I can see like the ball comes off his hand different and everything with that. What does Bryce Young do well? Like, what does he do well? What does he do that separates himself and makes him a first overall pick? And the worst part of all this for Bryce Young is, if Caleb Williams is even half of what he's promised, this will be an absolute disaster of a trade and one that could keep the Carolina Panthers stuck in perpetual awfulness. I mean, the Panthers moved heaven and earth to grab as many offensive weapons as they could to try to help him, but I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. And if the Carolina Panthers can come in and give some comments to try to give you guys some hopium, I'll read it and I'll listen to it. But I watched so many games of him play, and I never did I think that he is going to be elite or even average. I think right now average would be nice, but it's not his fault. It is not his fault. The team is terrible around him, but man, if I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, I'm very scared. The number one question I have for the Minnesota Vikings, not exactly the same that Trent Grady put, but thank you for the comment, Trent. What should the Minnesota Vikings do with Justin Jefferson? I stated this in another video that I did. This was around the draft and ranking all the top quarterbacks, but I love J.J. McCarthy. J.J. is a perfect fit in Minnesota, and I think him and, another J.J. I just now realizing that they have the same nickname, but yeah. Him and Justin Jefferson, I think, are going to be an elite wide receiver quarterback duo. JJ is going to completely destroy these figures. Don't be surprised if Justin Jefferson completely resets the market, gets like a 4-year, with an average per year of about $32 million a year. The number one question I have for the Detroit Lions is, are they one-hit wonders, or can they do it again? All the way up until that heart-wrenching NFC Championship game. Sorry, Lions fans. I'm a 49er fan, so that game was ridiculous. I've been a huge fan of the Detroit Lions. I love what they're doing as an organization. Love the Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Penei Sewell signings. Not crazy about the Jared Goff. I think it's going to hurt you guys in the end. But with this brain trust of Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, I mean, I think even that misstep of, paying Jared Goff, I think a little bit too much, this team is good. And this team is going to be there. And I low-key, though, I think this is going to be one of the most difficult divisions in football. The entire NFC North is significantly better than it was. And if it's not my team that ends up winning the Super Bowl at the end of the year, the team that I would root for is the Detroit Lions. The number one question I have for the Chicago Bears is, will Caleb Williams be the long, elusive franchise quarterback? Is there a number one overall pick who is going into a better situation than Caleb Williams, getting one of the best receivers in football, Keenan Allen, in a trade from the Los Angeles Chargers, grabbing DeAndre Swift from the Philadelphia Eagles, and the talent they already have on the offensive side of the ball? This is a scary team, and is perfectly set up for the rookie quarterback. And then you got Rome Odunze, or Odunze. I'm going to learn how to say that name eventually. Rome Odunze is going to be, I think low-key, I think he was one of my favorite receivers coming out of college this year. You got Cole Kmet, an elite tight end. I mean, Caleb Williams, he has got it. He just needs to deal the cards here. I'm excited for the Bears, and I think they have a really good shot at winning the division. The number one question I have about the Green Bay Packers is Love for real? Jordan Love came in like a bat out of hell, and his stats were pretty damn good. After having a couple disappointing games where he came in and spot started a little bit, he came out in 2023 and absolutely lit the world on fire, helping Green Bay get to the playoffs. While he did suffer some early struggles, he, in the later part of the year, came out the gate swinging and really showed how talented of a quarterback he is. I trusted this dude so much, I bet the Green Bay Packers on the money line when I was in Vegas with my dad. And sure, he threw a late interception against my 49ers that hurt the team. But they took my San Francisco 49ers blow for blow, and this team is going to be a real contender to win the division and possibly even the entire NFC. The number one question I have for the Los Angeles Rams is, at what point do they start the rebuild? This team was a surprise playoff team last year, and it was impressive what they did. Puka Nacua was a surprise rookie sensation. And after struggling out the gate going 3-6, they won 7 of their last 8 games, losing in absolute heartbreaking fashion to the Detroit Lions. But I think you have to ask the question with this team, how far can this iteration get you? Matthew Stafford on the wrong side of 30, the legendary defensive tackle Aaron Donald finally calling it quits. And they did it. They won the ring. They finished the job. I think partially the reason that they haven't completely blown this thing up yet is because of Sean McVay. They want to keep the Wonderkind happy, and as long as they find late round talent, they'll still succeed. This team needs to try to find their next quarterback, and let's see if that's going to be in this draft. The number one question I have for the Seattle Seahawks is, what do they do at quarterback? Personally, I didn't think Geno played that bad, but obviously he took a step down from his awesome 2022 campaign. They fired the brain trust. Pete Carroll is gone, but this is a young, talented team, and they really just need a signal caller that you can just do enough to get them wins. The new head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, Mike Macdonald, has got his work cut out for him. The NFC West is going to be a tough division. I'm sure the brain trust of the team is wanting, Geno Smith to do well and hopefully, don't have to worry about the quarterback situation. But if not, then they're going to have to consider moving on from Geno Smith. And the backup quarterback is Sam Howell, former Commanders starter last year. And I liked him in his spot start duty. So maybe if Geno Smith struggles, they give it over to Sam Howell. The number one question I have about the Arizona Cardinals is, did they pay Kyler Murray way too much money? On the bright side for Kyler, he's got a new huge target, Marvin Harrison Jr., the consensus number one receiver by a lot. This dude, just like his dad, is a killer. But ever since Kyler got paid, it's been a ton of bad luck. You have some who are questioning his leadership.
Murray's too high.
Why?
Kyler Murray should not be number 5.
I thought Baker and Goff are better than Kyler.
Yes, I agree. When it's all said and done, you're going to agree with me. Right now, you might not, because he had a quick little flash, but the Kyler Murray stuff is gone. It's over. And I'm on the grounds in Arizona.
You forgot about boots on the ground.
Yeah. My boots are on the ground.
Put Trevor, Kyler, any of those guys in Detroit? They're popping off.
Kyler's not popping off anywhere because the thing that people don't know about Kyler is he's not really a leader and people don't really surround themselves around him. That's the thing that like people don't really think about. They just look at his talent and go like, oh, he can go anywhere and transcend.
He's not a leader of men.
You have to be a leader to be a quarterback, dog. And if you're a quarterback that can't stand in front of your guys and say, hey, that was on me today.
Now, don't get me wrong. Kyler has had flashes where he has been elite. And of course, I think a lot of people will say, well, who the hell is Bryce Butler? But this is not the only time we've heard that Kyler Murray is not a great leader. We have this interview, which I still consider to be the weirdest interview in history of a potential dude coming into the NFL.
Year. Wait, are we not going to get along here if I do this? I want to make sure.
Yeah, we can do this.
Okay, all right.
We can do it.
You don't have to make a decision. Are you having fun with this
I'm
at all?
having a lot of fun.
You
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun.
I couldn't tell.
Oh, no, don't worry. I'm having a lot of fun.
Okay, well, let me try this again. Hey, what did you think of that NFL football?
They signed this deal way too early. They had many more years of control, and then they panicked and overpaid a dude that they probably shouldn't have overpaid. As much as we made fun of Jonathan Gannon, he actually had that team playing pretty well at the end of the year when they could have just given up. You just got to hope that they didn't doom the rebuild by paying Kyler a little too early. The number one question going into 2024 that I have about the San Francisco 49ers is Kyle Shanahan ever going to learn? I'm not going to play the clips. I can't do it. But you know what happened. We lost 3 times, and it just seems like Kyle Shanahan doesn't seem to learn his lessons. You have one of the worst losses in NFL history with the 28-3. Yeah, this man he doesn't have any humility, and he's a genius enough to get you there, but not a genius enough to win, because you have to have humility and you have to think that you can make a mistake to grow and learn. And unfortunately, Kyle Shanahan's ego will never allow him to learn lessons. Do you disagree with anything I have to say? Let me know in the comments. We're excited about football 2024. Going to do a prediction video, final drives, etc. Please consider giving a like and a follow. And yeah, let's go. Football time, baby.